Good morning, everyone, and welcome to KDH News. I'm Ricky Green, and we thank you for joining us here this morning. I have a special guest in the studio today, and her name is Mrs. Teneika Driver Moultrie. Mrs. Moultrie, welcome to KDH News.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Well, it's a very fitting time for you to be here today because, of course, it is Black History Month.
Yes.
And you yourself are involved with the Black community directly. But before we go into that, tell us a little bit about who Mrs. Teneika Driver Moultrie is. Where are you from?
I am actually from Illinois, a small town called Danville, where I was born and raised by a single parent, my mother, the wonderful Mrs. Linda Williams Rao. And we were raised in a three-child home. There was three of us. I'm the middle child. My sister is the oldest, of course, and I went to school at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. Once I graduated from college, she invited me to come out here to Texas to be with her. She was in the military at the time and just needed help with my niece that she had just had. And so, I always say the rest is history, but I ended up getting married, and so I'm married to my wonderful husband, and we'll actually be celebrating 10 years.
Wow!
Next month.
Congratulations!
Yes, thank you.
Say hi to him. What's his
name? Calvin.
Calvin.
Hello, honey.
That's awesome.
And we have a beautiful daughter named Kalina, and I have two bonus sons, Calvin Jr. and Cedric, who attends Ellison High School. And so we love it here. We call this place home. The biggest thing is that I always say the city of Killeen invested in me. And so therefore I look forward and I enjoy investing in my community each and every day.
Well, that's awesome, and that's a very interesting way that you got here and now how you were involved. Now, you talked about your educational background, and prior to the show, you talked about an RTF degree, radio, television, and film, and communications degree.
Yes.
But you have worked in that, but tell us what you're doing now.
So now I am the executive director of the Greater Killeen Community Clinic, where we have individuals that come in who are uninsured or underserved in our community with no health insurance. And so we are able to provide medical services to them for little to no cost. It's something I enjoy doing because a lot of the patients look like me. And so I want them to come to a place where they feel comfortable and they're not looked at as a number. We have a lot of health disparities going on in this community. And so I want to make sure that they're taken care of. The whole body is taken care of, not just the medical, but the mental and spiritual as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Tell me how you fell into that role.
I was actually asked. I used to serve as a board member on the Greater Killeen Community Clinic. And so I decided not to serve anymore. But years later, the former executive director had retired. And so the board chair called me and asked me would I consider coming over there and running the clinic. It was a challenge in the beginning because I came over during COVID. And so I started, this is the thing. You
got the best training anybody could ever do.
Yes, they offered me the job on Juneteenth of 2020.
Oh my.
Juneteenth.
My.
So they offered me the job on Juneteenth, and my first day was in July of 2020.
That was 6 months into COVID.
Oh yes. But I have enjoyed every bit of it. I have a wonderful team who is mission focused. They don't come to work to get a paycheck. They come to take care of the patients. And what better team you could have than individual staff who are that focused.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your position. I'm sure you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
But you kind of answered the question before I asked it. But my question is, what type of response have you seen for the residents in Killeen in utilizing your services were you our executive director?
So what we've done is we went out into the community and let them know that we are here for them. Some of them didn't understand what the services were, that they have those type of services offered to them. They thought that they had to fit in a certain socioeconomic status, that they had to do this and do that. We try to make it as easy for them as possible. And the reason being is because they are in an unfortunate situation that they have not asked to be in, you know, and so what better way than we can offer service to them in a friendly customer service environment and make it easier for them while taking care of them as well.
Would it be fair or even unfair to say that since this is a military town, that you see a lot of veterans and possibly homeless people?
We see quite a few homeless. I wouldn't say not so many veterans. We see more homeless individuals than anything. We do have a high population of the Hispanic race as well.
I see.
Yes, and so those are our top two population categories that we see on a regular basis. But as far as military, with us being in a military town, not as many. We don't see that. We are actually in a transient city. I always say that. So we may get patients in this month and we won't see them again for the next 6 months, which is unfortunate because we want to be their primary care provider and get them to where they need to be. I will tell you also, we see a lot of diabetics. Insulin is not cheap.
No.
And so even though we see individuals going back to work, they're still trying to bounce back from COVID, and so they're declining the health insurance that is being offered at their jobs. And health insurance, like I said, is not cheap. It's constantly increasing every single year. And so it's putting a strain on a lot of families who are trying to make ends meet each and every day.
Sure. You kind of spoke on it a little bit more, but that's another story for another day.
Yes.
You got a lot to do, and you got a lot of places to be, especially during Black History Month. But I wanted to talk about some of the qualifications and some of the criteria, but you'll have to come back for that.
I will. Yes, I will. I would love to.
But you were involved here in the city of Killeen in another capacity as well. And tomorrow is a very, very interesting and exciting day. First of all, talk to us about how you're involved directly with the NAACP here.
I am the president of the Killeen branch NAACP Unit 6189. And I say that with very much confidence and pride because it is an humbling and an honor to be able to serve in that capacity. I've done so since 2011. I did take a term off because I had just given birth to my daughter.
Sure, congratulations.
But the ironic thing is, while I was pregnant with my daughter, I ran for the state conference NAACP treasurer, and I won. So I'm doing dual role for the NAACP. So I serve as an officer on the state level as well as the local level as well. So
now, what was your inspiration behind getting involved with the NAACP?
In this community, you see a lot of individuals who are hopeless and voiceless. And so I am one that I am very outspoken and I care about people. I don't want people to be taken advantage of or to be used as an example, you know. And so I was just explaining to someone today who, you know, actually happened to be white, but that just goes to show you that the NAACP is for all people.
Right.
And so when I was explaining to this individual, he says, I'm going to need your help. And I said, and I'm going to be there for you every step of the way. Because they are not going to use your daughter as an example. It's not going to happen. She made a mistake. And there are times we all make mistakes, but we are not going to use them, that young lady, as an example. So to be able to be a voice for people and to give them hope, that is what gives me inspiration and encouragement and motivation. I always explain to people, I am the NAACP. And if I'm not living it, walking it, talking it, breathing it every single day, then, you know, the cause is in vain.
For those who are watching, that's very encouraging information, very encouraging news. What you're doing is a very, very humbling as well as a noble way to use your time and your services. Now, is this a volunteer position?
It is a volunteer position, and I'm telling you, you put a lot of sweat hours into it. And so, you know, some people have the perception that, you know, what are you doing? You know, so I tell people when the cameras are gone and the reporters are gone and the media is gone, the NAACP is still on the ground working. And so whether it's late night meetings or if we've got situations, issues going on, you know, for instance, with the Michael Dean, you know, we're thinking about, we're working on what's the next step, you know, and so we don't stop. We have to keep going because our thought process is that it may be the first incident, but it won't be the last. So we've got to be prepared for what's to come. You know, I have children, black children, you know, and so we see the racial climate that is going on in this nation. And so the NAACP is constantly working. Now, I will tell you, this job comes with challenges, and I say job because it is a job. It comes with its challenges. You take the bumps and you take the bruises and you take the hits. But as I always tell my team, my executive team, I'll take the hits because I can take it. You know, I will stand in the way so that they are not harmed. My job is to speak up for the NAACP, to be the NAACP, and to fight for the cause of the NAACP. And so, yes, it's a volunteer position, but it's a lot of work. And you really have to put in the work. It's not about a title, it's about the work.
Well, you are obviously passionate, dedicated, and committed to what you do just by listening to you. And again, once again, it's very humbling and a noble thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
Even with your position at the clinic as well as with the NAACP. But being the president of the NAACP, being Black History Month, lots of events going on in Killeen. We just had a City Hall reception with giving proclamations to your organization and to the Innovative Black Chamber of Commerce, who will both be having some events tomorrow night. Let's jump right into that.
Okay.
Talk about the NAACP special night tomorrow night.
Yes, so we are very, very, and I keep on saying very, very blessed because never in a million years, I'll be honest with you, we went to a play. Actually, the producer of the play reached out to me and we have been meeting and everything. And he never let me in on it until the day before. He said, did I tell you that one of the actors is W.E.B. Du Bois's great grandson? I said, get out of here.
Wow.
So we actually got to meet Jeffrey Peck at the play called Justice on Trial in October. And so I got his information. And so as we were coming up on Black History Month, I'm like, what are we going to do? We have to think outside the box. We have to think outside the box. And I remembered I had Mr. Peck's number in my phone. So I gave him a call and he answered right away. And he said, I would love to come to Killeen and speak for Black History Month.
Wow.
Mr. Peck is so full of his family's history, the ancestry, the lineage. It is just, it will blow your mind. I'm a history buff, and so he and I have sat on the phone. Every time we talk for over an hour because he's just giving me more and more information, and I am just soaking it up like a sponge. But we are so honored to have Mr. Jeffrey Peck, who is the great-grandson of Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, who was one of the co-founders of the NAACP. And so he is going to come. When
was it organized? Originally organized?
So it started out as the Niagara Movement.
I see.
And so the NAACP was actually founded February the 12th, 1909. So the significance of tomorrow is not only are we celebrating Black History Month, but we're also celebrating the birth, the founding of the NAACP as well, because it'll come up on that Sunday.
Sure.
During Super Bowl. So we are very excited that the timing was right. The timing couldn't have been more perfect.
Well, speaking about timing, tell people what time they can come see him, if tickets are available, and just other pertinent information to be able to not miss this dynamic speaker and public figure?
Yes, so our Black History Month program will be tomorrow night, Friday, February the 10th, 2023, at 6 p.m. at Dow's Community Center, located at 1002 Jeffries. The event is free and open to the public. And so most of our events we try to have for the community to just come in and enjoy and be educated, of course, on the Black history, the Black culture, and the history behind the NAACP. So Mr. Peck is going to sit down and have a conversation like we're doing with a moderator, Mr. Ford, who is going to serve as our moderator. We're also going to have some performances by the Truth Seekers, who are 8th graders from Palo Alto Middle School. And I met with I met with those young people yesterday, and I'm telling you, you are in for a treat. You are in for a treat. And once that program is over with, individuals will be able to, of course, meet Mr. Peck, and we will have beans, cornbread, and cake.
Not typical.
It is.
Typical soul food meal.
Typical soul food meal that will fill you up.
Who's this prepared by?
These are the beans will be prepared by the meal will be prepared by some of our members of the NAACP who are old school, in the kitchen, really getting down to it,
Talk about cook. I'm sure a lot of people will be looking forward to that. Yes. Moultrie, talk about membership. How can someone get involved? Is there an actual membership?
Yes, and so we will have our membership table available for those that would like to join the NAACP. We are always looking for freedom fighters.
Awesome.
And so the annual membership is $30, and it gives you the opportunity to be a part of the work, the cause. And so we have standing committees, the NAACP call them empowerment programs, that members can work on, that they're passionate about. And so we have a political action, which works on legislation. We have education, which works on critical race theory and scholarship. And then we have health, of course, that focuses on health and disparities. We also have economic development, because we still have housing discrimination as well. And so there are different pieces that people can actually work on. We just started back up our youth council, and they are doing amazing. And so there's a membership for that as well. Our young people just came back from Baylor University to have their quarterly meeting to set the blueprint of what civic advocacy work they're going to work on for this year. So there's so much to do in the NAACP. We would love to have you become a member. You can do so tomorrow night as well. Membership is $30 for adult, and then $10 for young persons. And I will tell you, you will truly, truly enjoy it. I met a young lady at the reception. She said, I just joined and I was so nervous. And she said, you came right through the door and came right up to me and said, welcome, thanks for being here. She said, that made me feel welcome immediately. And that's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And to put them to work right away.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
With that being said, I have my $30 and I'm ready to join. Is enrollment still open?
Yes, it is constant. It is constant. You know, we are right now in a membership drive, and so we're very excited about that. That plan that we're getting ready to roll out, and so we're very excited about that. But membership is constant, ongoing, and so we will accept anyone that wants to come. But I just want to reiterate, tomorrow at the Black History Month program, it's free. And it's open to the public. Anyone is welcome to come. We really want young people to be there. It's very important that young people understand and know their history of where they come from, because we hear it. You know, you got to know where you've been in order to know where you're going.
That's exactly right.
And so to get this information from him, how the torch has been passed on to him now, you know, to continue to carry on the legacy of Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois is truly an honor, you know. And so we want our young people to understand the importance and the significance of it.
Well, I'm sure they will. They will get a handful. I mean, they will get great advice. They will get an experience, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Yes.
But before we have to go, just a couple more things. A lot of people always talk about the NAACP. And I think I had to know what it meant to know where I'm going.
Right.
So the NAACP, correct me if I'm wrong, is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Colored people, yes, yes. And so when I like to express and explain to people about colored, it's like a box of crayons. There's a variety of colors in there. There's not one set colors.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so the NAACP is like that box of crayons, you know, and then when I say that, some people laugh because they say I sound like Forrest Gump, like like a box of chocolate. But the NAACP is like a box of crayons. We're here for everyone, everyone, you know. And when you put that crayon to a piece of paper, you can draw any dream or reality that you want.
I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yes.
A couple of more things, like I said before. How can somebody get in touch with you? On social media, on your website, give them that information.
Yes, so we do have a Facebook page. It's Clean Branch NAACP. We also have Instagram, but the best way is to go through Facebook. We have a wonderful. I call them millennials. You know, when they get a hold of social media, they take it to a whole nother level. And so she has taken our social media platform to a whole nother level. Now, as far as our website, we do have a web page, but we are reconstructing it, and it's going to launch February 12th. 2023.
What is that website?
I'm sorry. It'll be naacpclean.org. I believe so. But we will get that information out to everyone. So, but we're excited. The look of it is just beautiful.
I can imagine.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm so delighted that you've spent the time that you have with me, giving us all of this great information.
Thank you.
Not only about what you do as your profession, but what you do as your volunteer duties in the community as well.
Thank you.
Lastly, Mrs. Moultrie.
Yes.
What can we expect from the NAACP in the future?
What can we expect from the NAACP in the future? You can expect us to still be vital, stable, and an asset to this community. We've been here since July 1970. We remain active, financial, and compliant. Most branches and units of the NAACP can't say that, but the Clean Branch NAACP has over 50 plus years. And it is because of those who founded us, Reuben Hatcher, Catherine Hatcher, Mr. Willie Gibson. They had a vision, and they pushed it forward in the Marlboro Heights community, and they made Clean Branch NAACP be on the map, continue to be on the map, and we're going to stay on the map.
You know, you are such a driving force, an inspiration, and you're already a living legend because you've picked the torch up and you're continuing to carry it with not only grace, but with tenacity and courage, because I know it takes all of those things to do what you do. So, being that I consider you a living legend already, please give particularly Black people a word of encouragement, just in general, especially during this time in our world, in our communities. Just give them some encouragement or an inspiring word.
If I had to give everyone an inspiring word, I would quote from the Bible: "Don't grow weary in well-doing. Stay all in." I know it may get rough, you know, even our ancestors, it got rough for them, but they never grew weary in well-doing. So if that is one word I could encourage someone on today, I say that, to just plant a seed in your bucket.
Very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. I wish you much continued success in your life, in your family, in your endeavors, and moving forward. And thank you so much for taking the time to join me here on KDH News, and promise me it won't be your last time.
No, sir. No, sir. Okay.
And we're looking forward to your event tomorrow night. Tell them one more time tomorrow night, the speaker, who he is, and where it'll take place. Dr.
Jeffrey Peck will be joining us from Houston, Texas. He is the great-grandson of Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. Again, tomorrow night, Friday, February the 10th, at Dallas Community Center. The program will start at 6 p.m. It is free and open to the public, and any and everyone is invited to attend.
We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much
Thank
again.
you.
And thank you for staying tuned in to KDH News. Of course, I'm Ricky Green. We'll see you next time.